Hello everyone and welcome to a review for Sula by Toni Morrison. This is considered a classic. This is a standalone and was originally published in 1973, written by Toni Morrison. There is an audiobook available to this, and the audiobook on Audible is 5 hours and 46 minutes and is actually narrated by Toni Morrison, and that was really cool. So this is told in third person from a couple of different POVs. You have a POV from Sula. You have a POV point of view from her mother, her grandmother, her friend, from Helene Wright or Helen. Nell is Sula's friend, and things like that. So this is just basically following the life leading up to the birth of Sula. It doesn't really go into the birth of it, but kind of like life before Sula existed for people that are Black in America, and then what life was like during Sula's life for people that are Black in America. So, I mean, that's pretty much what it is. It's the life of people that are Black in a small town in America. And so you have a lot of talk of segregation and talk of slavery and stuff like that. So other content warnings, you have gore. You do have some bodily gore in this. You have the use of a straitjacket and death of a child. So, and there is concern of if like a child killed another child. You do have a parent killing a child, because back when this was written, people that were Black did not get the health care that they should have been allowed to get, unfortunately, and which is just disgusting. And so people really suffered. And so in order to end suffering, there is a case where a parent kills a child in this, and I will tell you that right off. And so that was very hard to read. So that's basically what Sula is. It's a classic, and it's about the life of a bunch of people who happen to be Black. I don't remember if there's any white people are mentioned, but we don't get a perspective from a white person. Perfectly fine. I found this fascinating, and there is one person in this who is referred to as basically crazy. He talks, there is a lot of talk of suicide, but it is mostly in reference to being like becoming Suicide Awareness Month type of a thing. So yeah, so that's pretty much what this is about. Now, in case, and this was pretty short, it was 174 pages. So I enjoyed this, and I look forward to picking up more of Toni Morrison's work. So I think she did a great job with this, especially, you know, one, I didn't live at that time, and two, where I'm not Black, she did a great job of writing this in a way that anyone can understand what it was, because I can always use my imagination and think what life was like for people that were Black, having to deal with slavery and not being able to get the health care that they needed, jobs that they needed, and how they were living and things like that. But to see them band together and all of that, she did a great job depicting that. And so I thought it was very good, and I highly recommend this read so that you can try to understand more of what it was like for Black people when this was written. This takes place over several years. We have 1919 leading up through 1965. There are some years that are not depicted in this book, but most of those years, like 1919 through, let's see, 20, 21, 22, 23 are all depicted, and then 27, 1937, 39, 40, etc. Then it starts to jump around. So yeah, that's pretty much all this is, the life story of people who are Black in the early to mid to late 1900s. So as far as word usage, in case you're still on the fence, we have, I'm not going to say it, but it is depicted and spelled out letter for letter on the page, and Toni Morrison does say this in the audiobook, and that is the slur that starts with the letter N, like November, that is used towards a Black person. So that is in here 11 times. I will not say that word, but it is in here. You have the word God coming up 22 times. I believe each time is not in a religious sense. The actual word suicide comes up 10 times. You have the word fuck coming up 5 times, the term Virgin Mary twice, shit 8 times. You have the word Lord coming up 4 times. Sometimes it's kind of in a religious sense, like, oh, help me type of a thing, and sometimes not. The name Jesus comes up 11. And other trigger warnings that I have come across that I missed, you have abuse, affair, racism, obviously, at the time that this was written. So, yeah. One thing I did find interesting is the language of Creole was mentioned a couple of times, only like 2 or 3 times, and so there were some words in there that were Creole, and so I found that really cool. Continuing on with the words, in case you're still on the fence, we have whore 5 times, hell 9, ass 3, breast 5, penis twice, hussy once, asshole once, bitch 3, damn 3, the word rape coming up 4 times, not descriptive, but there is an open door sex, but it is very mild compared to a lot of explicit scenes that I have read. Continuing on, we have balls once, cocksucker once, orgasm once, nipples twice, and the F slur for someone who is gay, that comes up once. So yeah, definitely some stuff to be aware of, but as hard as it was to read with the racism and how people that were black were treated, and things like that, and the type of life that they led in the 1900s, the early 1900s specifically, it was hard to read, but definitely a powerful read in my opinion, and definitely something that I would highly recommend more people should read to get an understanding of what life was like back then. So yeah, let me know, have you read this? Have you read anything else by Toni Morrison? If you have read other books, what is your favorite book by Toni Morrison? Let me know your thoughts. Are you interested in picking this up if you have not read it? Or is this one that you're going to give a pass to? Let me know. Talk to me in the comment section below. And until next time, stay true to yourself and enjoy a good book. And I'll talk to you later.